Hi, this is Adrian from Live to Learn Academy, and today we're going to be going over lesson 7.2 labeled compound angle formulas. Now, compound angle formulas, guys, is something that is very new. So this is a purely advanced functions kind of concept. You didn't learn this in functions in grade 11, but these are the main formulas that you guys need to know. So over here, we got the addition formulas, which are sine a plus b is equal to this, cos a plus b is equal to this, and tan a plus b is equal to this. And then for the subtraction formulas, we got these guys, 1, 2, and 3. Now, these formulas, we're going to go through a couple of questions on how to use these formulas to manipulate the questions that they give us, okay? So all you're asked to do in this specific unit is learn how to manipulate these formulas, okay? So for the first problem, they're going to give us an example like this. What we need to do is we need to figure out, okay, what is this representing? Is it representing this, 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 or this? So first we got to find out what it's representing. So I know over here, based off looking at the pattern, I know that I have two coses and then two sines. So if I look, I have a cos here and I have a cos here. And then I have a sine here and I have a sine here. So which function would this look like? Well, this has two coses. And this has two sines. This has two coses and this has two sines. But the next thing we got to look at is what is that symbol in the middle? Their addition. So I know that based on these two answers, it has to be reflective of this guy right here. So what I'm going to do is, if this is a reflective of that formula, then I have to now find out what A is and B are. So this is my A and this is my B. So once I find out A and B, we can now write the equivalent expression, which would be cos A minus B, so 5 pi over 12 minus pi over 12. And then if we simplify this, we'll end up with cos 4 pi over 12, which is the same thing as saying cos pi over 3. And then now we use our special triangles to find out what is cos pi over 3. So we know cos pi over 3 is referring to the pi over 3, pi over 6 triangle. So we'll get cos pi over 3 is adjacent over hypotenuse. So 1 over 2 will be your answer. So this is the first type of question you guys are going to get. They're going to tell you the full formula. You're going to have to find out which addition or subtraction formula it is based off the patterns. Obviously, cos, cos, sine, sine, right? If you notice, some of them go sine, cos, cosine, right? And then some of them have the tans looking like this in the fraction. So we got to figure out what formula we're using. And then we got to figure out, okay, based off that formula, what is A and what is B? Because once we find A and B, we'll be able to find out, we'll be able to put it over here in the cos A minus B section. And then from there, we just simplify it out using just regular addition or subtraction. And then once we get to the final answer, we got to use our special triangle to actually put that into a numerical value. Okay? So that's the first type of question you're going to get. The second type of question you're going to get is this. They're going to give you the left side of the equation, and then you're going to have to find out the whole right side. So if you look at this, this is equivalent to sine A plus sine B. So sine A plus B is going to be reflective of this formula up here. So let's actually write that out. So this is going to be sine A, which is pi, cos B, which is pi over 6, plus cos A sine B. So by using the first addition formula, I was able to translate that into this. Now over here, we actually got to find out what are these individual terms. And the way we find that is that we have to use our special triangles and we have to know our knowledge of our sine and cos graphs, right? So sine pi, right? I know sine pi looks like this. And wherever it's pi, it's 0. So I know this guy is going to be 0. Cos pi over 6, I'm going to use a special triangle. where this is pi over 6, and then I have root 3 and 2. So cos pi over 6 is going to be root 3 over 2. Cos pi is going to be in reference to the cosine graph. That looks like this. Cos pi is going to be -1. And then sine pi over 6, we got root 3, 2, 1. Sine pi over 6 is just 1 over 2. So remember, cos pi over 6 refers to this over this. Sine pi over 6 refers to this over this. And then now once I got all my numbers, I'm just going to clean it up. So 0 times root 3 over 2 is just 0. And then all I'm left with at the end is -1 over 2. So this is the second type of problem you guys are going to get in this course. So the first type is using the right side and converting it to the left side when you look at these formulas. The second question is they give you the left side, and now you got to piece it out on the right side, right? So knowing how to go both ways is an important concept in this type of lesson. Now I want to bring your attention to a specific type of question, and I've seen this question on a lot of tests, and that's why I want to go over it with you guys. But this is an application question. Sometimes it might be a thinking question. So I want you guys to really understand how to do this question, because if you get it on tests, don't be surprised. So if you look at this, it says in quadrant 1, you have sine. Okay, so let's say in quadrant 1, we know sine A is 7 over 25. So that means its opposite over hypotenuse is going to be our sine A, sine alpha. It also tells us that cos beta in quadrant 1 is 5 over 13. So 5 over 13 is going to be for beta. Now it's saying without a calculator, determine the values of sine A plus B and tan A plus B. So first things first is we got to actually use our formulas. So we know sine A plus B is equal to sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. And the reason I know this is I'm using my formula right here, the first addition formula right here. So when I'm using that first addition formula, I'm just writing it out as this. So what is sine A? Well, sine A we know is 7 over 25. Cos B, cos beta we know is 5 over 13, right? So I use 7 over 25 for the first one. I use 5 over 13 for the second one. Let's find the next one, cos alpha. Now the thing is, if I'm going to use cos alpha, I need to actually know what this third variable is, that third side length is. Otherwise, I can't do the ratio. So what we're going to have to do is we're actually going to have to use Pythagorean theorem to find out that third ratio. So I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem, and I'm going to say 25 squared is equal to x squared plus 7 squared. And then we're going to solve. So 25 squared minus 7 squared is 576. And then I'm going to square root both sides. Square root of 576 is 24. So square root of 576 is 24 as my x. So if this is 24, now that we know that this is 24, I can say cos A is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay? And then sine beta. Now sine beta, we don't know what this guy is. So we're going to have to use Pythagorean theorem again. So I'll say 13 squared is equal to 5 squared plus y squared. And then 13 squared minus this is going to be 144 is equal to y squared. And then square root of 144 is equal to y. Y is equal to 12. So this is going to be 12. So now we can find sine beta, which is 12 over 13. And then from here, we're just going to cook it up in the blender. and just use our calculator. So 7 times 5, we got 35 over 325. And then we got 288 over 325. So we end up with 323 over 325. And this ends up being our answer. So notice how in this type of question, guys, we actually had to draw out these two triangles. And we had to draw out these two triangles, both in quadrant 1, and then the rest was simple. So there's a little bit of an extra step because 1, they ask you to draw it out. 2, you have to use Pythagorean theorem to find that third side length on each of these triangles. And then 3, you got to use the compound angle formula to be able to put it all together. So very, very common question, if you do need help with these kinds of questions, feel free to click the link in our description. We have access to tutoring services for those of you guys taking this course. But if you guys found this video helpful on summarizing compound angle formulas, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We post every day, Monday to Friday at 3 p.m. And feel free to share this video to your friends. It really helps our channel and our overall tutoring service, help you guys out. So without further ado, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.